Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. What if I told you that most of the challenges we face, whether in business, relationships, or our personal lives, are not problems to be solved, but games to be played? A game where there's no final whistle, no finish line, and no end point in sight. In life, we often find ourselves caught up in what I call the finite game. We set short-term goals, chase immediate wins, and measure success by what we can achieve today. But what if the true measure of success isn't about the quick victories? What if the game we're playing is far bigger than we think? I'm here to talk about the infinite game, a mindset that focuses on playing for the long term. The infinite game is about sustainability, purpose, and resilience. It's about knowing that the game never ends and that we are in it for something much bigger than ourselves. Let's explore what it takes to play for the long term and how shifting our mindset from the finite to the infinite can transform the way we approach challenges, work, and life itself. In the world we live in today, there's an overwhelming pressure to achieve quick wins. We're constantly being pushed towards short-term goals, whether it's hitting quarterly targets, securing immediate promotions, or meeting the demands of today's ever-shifting market trends. Society celebrates instant gratification, and in many ways, this has become the standard by which we measure success. But there's an inherent flaw in this approach. While short-term wins are valuable in their own right, they often obscure the bigger picture, the long-term vision that truly drives sustained success and fulfillment. When we focus too much on short-term wins, we may find ourselves making decisions that provide immediate rewards but sacrifice long-term growth. It's easy to chase after what's in front of us, what seems attainable in the immediate future, without considering the long-term consequences. This often results in burnout, disillusionment, or even a sense of unfulfilled potential. If we're solely focused on hitting our next milestone or achieving our next success, we may miss out on the deeper, more meaningful journey that the longer-term vision provides. The infinite game is about redefining success. Rather than measuring success in terms of quick wins or immediate achievements, we begin to measure it by the impact we have over time. When we shift from a short-term to a long-term perspective, we start to make decisions that align with our deeper purpose. It's not about how fast we get there, but whether we're heading in the right direction. A long-term vision allows us to stay committed to our cause, even when immediate results aren't visible. When you embrace the long-term vision, you begin to realize that success is not defined by how many short-term goals you can check off a list, but by how many lives you've impacted, how much growth you've experienced, and how much progress you've made toward your ultimate purpose. This shift in mindset transforms the way we view obstacles. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks or failures, we learn to see them as opportunities for growth and learning. They become stepping stones on our path to something much greater than ourselves. In business, for example, companies that focus on short-term results may achieve rapid growth, but they're often doing so at the expense of sustainability. These businesses might cut corners, ignore employee well-being, or prioritize profits over purpose. While this may lead to immediate gains, it can be a recipe for failure in the long run. By contrast, businesses that take a long-term approach prioritize the well-being of their employees, the integrity of their products, and the sustainability of their practices. These companies understand that real success takes time, and they invest in building strong foundations that will continue to bear fruit for years to come. Similarly, in personal development, if we focus only on the quick wins, such as getting a promotion, achieving a fitness goal, or completing a project, we may miss out on the growth that comes with perseverance and resilience. Real personal growth often happens in the spaces between achievements, in the lessons we learn during times of struggle, and in the moments where we keep pushing forward, even when results are not immediately apparent. By shifting to a long-term perspective, we give ourselves the permission to grow at our own pace. We understand that each failure, each mistake, each setback is not the end, but rather a lesson that shapes our character and prepares us for the greater challenges ahead. This mindset fosters patience, resilience, and a deeper sense of purpose. The beauty of playing the infinite game is that it encourages a mindset that thrives on progress rather than perfection. The short-term view often places a premium on perfection, where every decision feels critical and every mistake feels catastrophic. But in the infinite game, mistakes are seen as part of the process, learning opportunities that help us refine our approach and grow stronger. Another crucial aspect of focusing on long-term vision is that it allows us to build stronger relationships and deeper connections with others. When we view our relationships through the lens of the infinite game, we move beyond transactional interactions. Instead of seeing people as means to an end, we start to appreciate them as part of a broader journey. This shift enables us to cultivate trust, respect, and collaboration. It's no longer about getting something from others. It's about contributing to something greater than ourselves and growing together along the way. In both business and life, playing for the long term requires a radical shift in how we think about success and achievement. It's about redefining what it means to win. Winning isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about the journey, the growth, and the impact you have along the way. When we play for the long term, we're not merely looking for the next immediate win. We're investing in something far more significant, a future that aligns with our core values, a future where the impact we make endures. This is the power of the infinite game. It encourages us to play with purpose, resilience, and vision, and in doing so, it leads us to a life of deeper fulfillment and success that goes far beyond short-term achievement. In a world that often values certainty, stability, and predictability, adaptability is often seen as a secondary skill, something that's nice to have but not essential. Yet, in the infinite game, adaptability isn't just a useful skill, it is absolutely crucial for survival and success. When we are committed to playing for the long term, we must come to terms with the reality that change is inevitable. Markets shift, technology evolves, industries transform, and our own circumstances and personal growth are always in flux. The ability to adapt is no longer a luxury but a necessity for those who want to thrive in the infinite game. When we approach life or business with the mindset of adaptability, we become more resilient in the face of challenges. Instead of fearing change or resisting the unknown, we learn to embrace it. We understand the journey is not a straight line and that detours are a natural part of the process. Adapting doesn't mean abandoning our core purpose or values, but rather staying flexible in how we achieve them. It means we remain open to learning, to evolving, and to refining our approach as circumstances change. This mindset allows us to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead is unclear. The world we live in is increasingly complex and interconnected. Global challenges, technological advancements, and shifts in societal values all contribute to a rapidly changing environment. What works today may not work tomorrow, and what seemed like a brilliant strategy last year may now feel outdated. In such an environment, rigid thinking and a refusal to adapt can quickly lead to stagnation. To succeed in the long term, we must recognize that adaptability is a fundamental characteristic of those who thrive in uncertainty and certainty. When we focus on adaptability, we begin to shift our perspective from seeking certainty to embracing the unknown. We stop thinking of change as a threat and start viewing it as an opportunity for growth. In the infinite game, the landscape is constantly shifting, and we must evolve with it to stay relevant. This means being open to experimentation, testing new ideas, and even failing along the way. Adaptability involves a mindset that doesn't just accept failure, but learns from it, uses it as a springboard to try new approaches, and ultimately becomes better as a result. In business, the importance of adaptability is evident. Companies that cling to outdated models or resist change often find themselves overtaken by more agile competitors. The companies that succeed in the infinite game are the ones that can pivot, adapt to new technologies, and respond to changing consumer demands. Think about the companies that once dominated their industries. Companies like Blockbuster, Kodak, and BlackBerry. They all had a narrow focus and in some cases failed to adapt to the rapidly changing technological landscape. On the other hand, companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla have embraced change and used it to their advantage. They understand that the market will evolve, and they position themselves not just to survive, but to lead through that evolution. The willingness to adapt is just as essential on a personal level. Our careers, our goals, and our personal growth are not static. What we value today may shift over time, and what we want out of life may look different in the years to come. The key to thriving in the infinite game is not to be rigid in our pursuit of goals, but to remain flexible in how we approach them. Adaptability requires that we stay curious, that we keep learning, and that we stay open to new possibilities, even when they don't fit the plans we've already set. This doesn't mean we abandon our purpose or values. In fact, it's often the opposite. Adaptability in the infinite game is about staying true to our core purpose, even as we adjust the tactics and strategies to match the changing environment. For instance, a person who values innovation might begin their career as a software developer, but as technology evolves, might shift their focus toward artificial intelligence or data science. Their purpose, pushing the boundaries of technology and creating innovative solutions, remains the same, but the way they achieve it adapts to the changing world around them. By staying adaptable, they not only stay relevant, but also continue to contribute in meaningful ways. The ability to adapt also fosters a culture of continuous improvement. In the infinite game, success is not defined by a single achievement, but by a consistent commitment to growth. Adaptability allows us to keep refining our skills, to stay on the cutting edge of our fields, and to keep improving ourselves, even after we've reached certain milestones. This ongoing improvement becomes the measure of success, rather than a specific goal or destination. In addition, adaptability builds resilience. When we're adaptable, we're less likely to be knocked off course by unexpected setbacks or challenges. Change is a constant, but rather than being a source of anxiety or fear, it becomes an opportunity to innovate, learn, and grow. We don't break when things don't go according to plan. We adjust, find new solutions, and continue moving forward. This adaptability is the foundation of resilience, which is necessary for anyone committed to playing the infinite game. In the end, adaptability is not about constantly changing who we are or what we stand for. It's about learning to navigate an unpredictable world in ways that allow us to stay true to our purpose and continue progressing toward our long-term goals. By embracing adaptability, we don't just respond to the changing world, we help shape it, creating new possibilities and opportunities that weren't there before. In the finite game, competition is everything. It's about being number one, beating rivals, outperforming others, and proving that you're the best. In that mindset, success is often measured by comparison, how you stack up against the person next to you. But in the infinite game, the focus shifts entirely. It's no longer about the competition, it's about the cause. The infinite mindset asks a different question. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the deeper purpose that drives us? And how can we stay committed to that purpose over time, regardless of how others are performing around us? When we focus on the cause instead of the competition, we stop measuring our progress based on someone else's scoreboard. We begin to define success not by beating others, but by advancing our mission, by staying aligned with our values, and by making a meaningful impact. This shift creates a powerful sense of clarity and direction. It reminds us that we're not in this to win a race. We're in this to make a difference. And that difference might take time, might require sacrifice, and might never look like traditional success, but it's far more fulfilling and far more sustainable in the long run. In business, companies that play the infinite game understand that their true competitors are not other companies. They're the problems they're trying to solve. For a company like Patagonia, for example, the mission isn't just to sell outdoor gear, it's to protect the environment. That's the cause. That's the deeper reason they exist. And because they're driven by that cause, their decisions, from sourcing sustainable materials to taking political stands, are shaped by purpose, not profit. They're not interested in just outperforming another brand. They're focused on living out their values and staying true to their mission. That's what earns long-term loyalty. That's what builds trust. When we operate from a cause-driven mindset, we also become less reactive and more intentional. Competition can often lead to reactive behaviors, chasing trends, copying others, cutting corners just to stay ahead. But when we're guided by a cause, we make decisions from a place of conviction. We're not trying to outpace someone else. We're trying to stay aligned with who we are and what we believe in. That kind of clarity gives us the courage to take bold steps, even when those steps aren't popular or immediately profitable. In our personal lives, the same principle applies. Thus, the same principle applies. If we're always comparing ourselves to others, how much money they make, how far they've advanced, how admired they are, we begin to lose sight of what actually matters to us. Our motivation becomes external, not internal. We chase recognition rather than purpose. But when we focus on our cause, our why, we stop trying to keep up with everyone else and start walking our own path. We find a source of motivation that doesn't waver with the ups and downs of life. That cause becomes our anchor. One of the most powerful things about focusing on the cause is that it allows us to build something that lasts. In the infinite game, endurance matters more than speed. And the only way to endure is to have a reason to keep going, even when things get hard. That reason is the cause. When profits dip, when criticism comes, when obstacles show up, if we don't have a cause, we'll be tempted to quit. But if we do, we'll find the strength to push through. We'll remember why we started in the first place. A cause also attracts the right people. In leadership, when we focus on something bigger than just winning, we inspire those around us. People are drawn to purpose. They want to be part of something that matters. They want to know that their work contributes to a larger story. When leaders focus on the cause, they create a sense of belonging and commitment that no bonus or title can replace. It's the difference between having employees and having believers. Focusing on the cause also creates consistency in a world that is constantly shifting. Markets change, competitors come and go, circumstances evolve, but a clear and meaningful cause provides stability. It gives us a reference point for decision-making, a compass that helps us stay true even when the terrain around us gets rough. With a cause at the center, we can adapt our strategies without losing our identity. We can innovate without compromising our integrity. We can grow without drifting. The infinite game reminds us that it's not about how fast we grow, how much we earn, or how well we compete. It's about why we started, who we're becoming, and what we're building. When we focus on the cause, we move beyond the shallow victories of competition and into the deeper work of contribution. We begin to ask not, how can I win? But, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I leave things better than I found them? That shift changes everything. It changes how we lead, how we work, how we live. It allows us to play the game with purpose, with passion, and with the kind of perspective that doesn't fade with time.